In the period from 10 to 4000 BC, witnessed the most important single innovation in human history before the Industrial Revolution. The seemingly simple change from acquiring food entirely by hunting and gathering to producing it through cultivation and stock breeding. Sitting at the crossroads between Europe, Africa, and Asia, Mesopotamia, the land between the rivers, Tigris and Euphrates, perhaps holds deeper significance for the history of human progress than any other. In the Sumerian civilization that arose here, we find the earliest known archaeological examples of the wheel, writing, astronomy, the division of time into minutes and seconds, and the first true cities, and many more firsts. Sumerian society developed in southern Mesopotamia. Here, pre-existing Ubaid culture built the foundations of the earliest cities, after successive waves of migration from the Syrian plain, south, and east. Integrated with these city builders, the amalgamation of these peoples formed the Sumerian culture. For the first time, the vast majority of a population was not needed for food production. That enabled them to specialize in law, arts, sciences, and war. The great wealth these rapidly growing cities accumulated stirred the envy of outsiders, as well as each other. Around 4500 BC, the first walled cities began springing up, and soon, all self-respecting cities began sporting formidable walls. Around the middle of the 3rd millennium BC, King Shakushana of Uruk conquered nearly all the leading Sumerian city-states, proclaiming himself Lord of Sumer and King of all the land. His day in the sun would be short-lived. King Eannatum of Lagash would conquer Uruk, and set about conquering Uruk's former tributaries. During Eannatum's conquests, he would lose an eye to an arrow, but that would not stop him, and he would campaign as far north as the kingdom of Mari, and east as the Elamite city of Susa, and extract tribute. After his death, the city of Kish would quickly gain independence, and Lagash's influence slowly diminished. Approximately 100 years later, in the city of Kish, a cupbearer to the king rose from obscurity, taking the cities of Uruk and Kish. He quickly consolidated Sumer under his rule. Perhaps his humble origins eased the assimilation of conquered cities, as class distinctions in Sumerian cities had led to growing resentment by the poor for the privileged upper elite. He would continue to campaign until all of Mesopotamia was under his rule, generally regarded as the first empire in world history, ruling over people of many languages and making use of a large bureaucracy, where he replaced native Sumerian with a Semitic script, using Sumerian characters known as Akkadian. For the next 150 years after his death, his descendants would rule this empire. Susa in the east would rise up to challenge Akkadia. The Gutian people, also coming from the mountainous east, would raid the Akkadian Empire, using hit-and-run tactics, eventually pouring in to conquer the frustrated Akkadians, and burn their capital city of Akkad to the ground. Its location has never been discovered. They were supplanted by the Neo-Sumerian Empire, also known as the Third Dynasty of Ur. This 100-year period of Sumerian resurgence was brought to an end by the Amorites, an invading tribe from the south. Although the age of Sumer was ended, the Amorites would adopt much of their culture, and their capital city of Babylon would one day become legendary in its own right. This has been Epimetheus. I hope you enjoyed this brief overview of Sumerian history. Big thanks to all my patrons and followers. You guys are top-notch. Don't forget to smash the like button, hit the subscribe, ring the bell icon to get notifications every time I make a new video. And let me know what you liked and didn't like down in the comments, how I can improve. I always enjoy hearing what you guys have to say. And this has been Epimetheus.